The life and teachings of Srimati Behera Kamalamma, the Divya Charitra. Chapter 1. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. The holy and auspicious subcontinent Bharat is the crown jewel of the world. The Western countries enjoy material prosperity and physical comforts due to scientific advancements, and the Oriental countries are well advanced in inner evolution and attaining mastery over the mysticism of life. Bharat has always been a rich land whose countrymen are highly evolved in spiritualism and their values are deeply rooted in dharma. We can proudly claim that there is no other country in par with Bharat in this aspect. Ours is a land of karma for the spiritual sadhakas, land of wisdom and enlightenment, since Jnanis inhabit this country, land of divinity due to the presence of Devas who are the divine forces of the universe. Hari, Hara and Brahma, the holy trinity, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi and Mahasaraswati, the Shakti Trimurti. Lord Indira and his group of divine elements have manifested time and again in this privileged land, not only to accept the worship of devotees, but also to nurture and uplift them in all aspects and make living a fruitful experience. The lines from Potana Bhagavatam rightly describes the uniqueness and greatness of this holy land Bharat. The poet says that the Almighty has descended innumerable times on this land as gurus, friends, relatives, etc., and taught us to follow the path of righteousness and made our life meaningful. It was here that Vyasa, Valmiki, and other great rishis descended and wrote great epics to guide people in every walk of life. Ours is the land where Jnanis and Gurus like Adi Shankara, Ramanuja, and Madhavacharya were born and led the people towards self-realization. This country witnessed devotion in its pristine form in the Bhakti Kirtanas of Sakkubai, Mirabai, Bhakta Ramadas, Tulsidas, and many more sons and naths. Bharat is the holy land where innumerable yogis and avadhutas have chosen to be born. They find this country suitable for their spiritual evolution, and in that process see that people around them also flourish, just as a river starting its journey from the top of the mountain, eager to merge with the ocean, travels all the way, making the land fertile before it achieves its mission. Time and again our country has been a host to such Jnanis and Gurus. In very recent times there lived such an enlightened soul, showering its divine grace on the banks of river Godavari, and she was called Srimati Behera Kamalamma. In the mid-decades of the last century, our country witnessed the upheaval of religious beliefs and cultural values due to the influence of the British in the field of education and religious propaganda. Monotheism, atheism, rationalism, etc. gained immense popularity, and our ancient belief systems were pushed to the backseat. People, particularly those belonging to the middle class families, suffered a lot due to insufficient income, rising prices, mediocrity, lack of proper guidance, incomplete academic knowledge, improper life skills, etc. Western influence not only affected faith, religious and cultural practices, it also made a shift in people's thinking. People are nowadays more oriented towards physical comforts and materialistic outlook rather than living as a complete human being. This trend started gaining a strong foothold right from the early part of the last century. It was during such an era Kamalamma Garu was born, preached the simplest path of devotion and led people in the right path. Her method of aradhana and niyama was so simple and easy to follow. She insisted that faith and intense devotion were more important than the display of rituals. She inspired the women of middle class families to adopt the path of intense devotion which would lead them to salvation. These women generally repented that they could not afford to perform expensive vratams and homams. She practiced and preached that true devotion is the only tool to attain wealth of all kinds, and the key to overcome any kind of obstacles in life lies in the power of heartfelt, sincere prayers. She shall always stay in the hearts of devotees as a deity of worship. Her biography should be read by every spiritual aspirant. It is sure to lead us towards, in all walks of life, as a beacon of light and earn us the merit of having the divine darshan of self-realized person. Behra Kamalamma was born on 13th January 1904 in Rajahmundry as a second child of Maha Mahopadhyaya Kukkanda Venkataratnam Pantulu Garu and Srimati Lakshmamma Garu. She was named by her parents as Venkatasiri Narsamma and later came to be known as Kamalamma, and her devotees fondly addressed her Pinnigaru or Pooja Pinnigaru. Let us read, listen and meditate on her Divya Charitra, for it is sure to refine us and take us along the path of spiritual progress. We begin with the spiritual journey with salutations to her Guru Parampara, starting from her father Kokkanda Venkataratnam Pantulu Garu. Let us have a glimpse of his great stature. Jai Gurudeva, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Chapter 2. Maha Mahopadhyaya Kokkanda Venkataratnam Garu, the originator of Guru Parampara from 1842 to 1915. Kokkanda Venkataratnam Sharma Garu was born on 14th March 1842 at Vinukonda in Guntur district, Andhra Pradesh. After completing his education at Guntur, he worked as an academician at Coimbatore during 1856 to 1863. He later on succeeded Chinnaya Suri and worked as Telugu Pandit for about 25 years, that is from 1864 to 1889 in the Madras Presidency College. He was transferred to Rajahmundry in 1889, where he lived thereafter. Kokkanda Venkataratnam Pantulu Garu made numerous literary contributions in Sanskrit and Telugu. He was a proficient speaker in Telugu, Sanskrit and English. His literary work. There are about 20 literary works to his credit. This includes his books on grammar, prose, poetry, novels, drama in prose and music forms, etc. He translated the Sanskrit verses of Niti Chandrika to Telugu. Some of his prominent works are Godavari Varnana, Tanumadhyamba Satakam, Tanumadhyamba Geeta Ratnam and Prince of Wales Taravali. He was acknowledged for his monumental work called Bilveshwaryam, an epic containing 3,442 verses. He was known reverently as Kavi Brahma, Akshara Shankaracharyalu, Andhra Johnson, and he was the first person to receive the honorary title Maha Mahopadhyaya conferred by the British government to the eminent scholars. He was the editor of his own Telugu magazine Andhra Sanjeevani. His prominence in the field of literature brought him good friends and enemies as well. Famous Telugu poets Dharmavaram Ramakrishnamacharyalu, Ramadurgam Narsaya Shastri, Kamanduri Anantacharyalu were some of his very good friends. Vedam Venkataraya Shastri, Pundla Ramakrishnaya, Mandapaka Parvatishwara Shastri Garu were some of the famous literary personalities with whom he mostly differed. Pundla Ramakrishnaya published his criticism on Kokkanda Venkataratnam Pantulu's work in his magazine called Amudrika Chintamani. Kokkanda Venkataratnam Pantulu had an uncompromising nature. He never sought or accepted anyone's assistance and held himself in high esteem. His straightforward nature was interpreted as arrogance, and it won him more enemies than friends. He was a purist, highly orthodox and conservative in his approach towards life and language. He stuck on to the Vedic rituals and customs that were passed on down to the generations. Hence, he disapproved the liberal and modern views of people like Veerasalingam Pantulu Garu. This enmity even crept into their personal life. Sri Venkataratnam Pantulu's first wife was Srimati Ramamba. Through this marriage, he was blessed with two sons, namely Kumara Narsimham, Lakshmi Narsimham, and two daughters, Venkata Narsamma and Lakshmi Narsamma. The elder son, Kumara Narsimham, worked as a teacher in Pennaluripet in Chittoor district. The younger son was a proficient astrologer who could predict the future well in advance. Unfortunately, this son died and when he was just 20, and this subsequently led to the untimely death of Pantulu's first wife. Later, Sri Venkataratnam Pantulu married Lakshmamma, and through this wedlock they were blessed with 2 sons and 5 daughters. Kalyana Narsimham worked as a teacher in Birakuppam near Madras. Gangayya Narsimham worked in a private firm in Madras. Lakshmi Narsamma was married to Kallakuri Narsimham, who was the collector of Godavari district. Venkatasiri Narsimha was later on known as Behara Kamalamma, our spiritual guru, and was married to Behara Satyanarayana, who was a teacher. Kumara Narsimha, alias Rajeshwari, was married to Vippagunta Lakshmi Narsimham, who was working with Burma Shell Company at Nellore. Tanumadhyamba was married to Gundlapalli Venkatarao. He worked as a teacher in Chittoor High School and later on entered into cinema field and worked as an assistant director with Chitturi V. Nagayya. Durgamba was married to Kalyana Sundaram, who was employed in AVM Studios, Madras, as an artist. Spiritual life. It was an era where most of them, particularly the Brahmins, stuck to Vedic rituals and worship. They gained divine powers by chanting mantras and practicing rituals. This helped them to attain material wealth, name, and fame, which were used for the benefit of the society. Venkataratnam Pantulu Garu was devoted to Tanumadhyamba and Bilveshwara Swami of Bilveswara Kshetramu, which is now called Thiruvalam in Vellore district, Tamil Nadu. He strongly believed that his faith in Tanumadhyamba had made him a great literary personality. His daily routine included puja, meditation, and other spiritual practices about which no one else knew. He had a special puja room where he worshipped and meditated on his Upasana deity and also used to pen his literary works. No one was permitted to enter the room. Even his wife went to that room only for cleaning and arranging the puja material. Pantulu Garu locked the room and pocketed the key whenever he left the house. In short, his life wove around his Upasana and literary creations. No one dared to question or disturb this sadhana. His personal and religious discipline earned him a special status among the contemporary scholars and religious practitioners. Jai Gurudeva. Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Chapter 3. Parivartanam. Venkatasri Narsamma transforms to Kamalamma. Those were the days when Sri Venkataratnam Pantulu was working as Telugu lecturer in Government Arts College, Rajahmundry. He was the one who renamed his second daughter Venkatasri Narsamma as Kamala. The word Kamala means Lakshmi, the virtuous one, and fruit of right action. Let us now see this interesting incident by which Venkatasiri Narsamma came to be called as Kamala, which was to become an apt name by which she became renowned in the future. This incident took place when she was about 5 years old. Sri Kokkonda Venkataratnam Pantulu completed his daily puja and other spiritual rituals, had his lunch and left home on some work. Normally, his wife Srimati Lakshmamma used to complete all her daily work and then have lunch along with the children at about 11 noon every day. On that day also she called all her children for lunch at noon. Everyone except Venkatasiri Narsamma heeded to her call. Their mother again called her name, and when there was no response, they started searching for this little girl. They searched for her everywhere in the neighborhood, but in vain. The children were shocked and refused to eat, and the mother's eyes were filled with tears of grief. When Venkataratnam Pantulu Garu returned home, his wife reported the matter to him. He closed his eyes and meditated for few seconds. The family members stood beside him, not knowing what to do. Suddenly, Pantulu Garu took out the key to his room with a smile on his face, and he exclaimed, Jai Tanumadhyamba, and unlocked the puja room. What a surprise! The little girl Venkatasiri Narsamma was sitting on her father's puja seat in lotus posture with her eyes closed. Her face was filled with and remained motionless. Her mother and siblings just stood gazing her when her father went closer, placed his hands on the child's head and gently stroked her back. The little girl regained her normalcy. The father lovingly asked her, Little darling, When did you come here? The child replied that she did not know. Again her father questioned, Don't be scared, dear. Why did you come here? How did you enter the locked room? The child thought for a while and said, Mother Goddess called me here. I sat in front of her and was looking into her eyes, and later I did not know what happened to me. The father then meditated for a few seconds, hugged the child, and examined her right foot. He found the marks of Sri Chakra Mudra on her right foot. He immediately went into a trance and proclaimed, This little girl is the manifestation of the goddess whom I worship every day. She shall henceforth be called Kamalamma and shall continue the worship of Universal Mother seated in my Puja Mandir after I leave this world. Thus, Venkatasiri Narsamma was renamed as Kamalamma and was declared as a spiritual heir of Sri Venkataratnam Pantulu. This incident was a turning point in Kamalamma's life, which was later on filled with many miracles and divine events. People started recognizing her as a spiritual person possessing special powers. Jai Gurudeva, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Chapter 4, Kamalamma Kalyanam, an auspicious beginning. Even as a small child, Kamalamma exhibited divine qualities. After the incident that took place in Sri Venkataratnam Pantulu's Puja Mandiram, people regarded her as a divine child born with the blessings of the mother. Right from the beginning, Venkatasiri Narsamma was different from other children. She was radiant with divine glow, bright eyes and characteristic speech that could impress everyone. Her pleasant words and impressive behavior made her the darling of everyone. The teachers at school never admonished her as she was Pantulugaru's daughter. Thus, being pampered at home and school, her academic progress was slow and negligible. Even her father, a great academician, did not bother about this. On the other hand, he observed that his daughter had learnt the essence of all knowledge. Little Kamalamma was large-hearted. She was always surrounded by a group of children who considered her as their special friend. The child used to share the eatables given to her with all those friends. She was good at music. She used to sing the praise of Mother Goddess and narrate stories about her glory. Now and then she used to sit in the front of portrait, close her eyes and say that she was in deep penance. The child grew up happily, singing, dancing, playing and attained 8 years of age. In those days, it was customary to get the girls married when they were quite young. Sri Kokkonda Venkataratnam Pantulu, being a staunch and orthodox believer of such traditions, decided to get his daughter married to Behera Satyanarayana. Behera family of East Godavari region was well known for its integrity and moral values. Sri Behera Subbarayudu and his wife Srimati Seshamma were very happy to get their fourth son Satyanarayana married to Sri Kokkonda Venkataratnam Pantulu's daughter Kamalamma. Behera family considered this as an honor and pride bestowed on them. Thus the young 11-year-old Satyanarayana was married to the 8-year-old Kamalamma. The children did not know anything but marriage or its significance. They thoroughly enjoyed the special attention given to them, their new dresses and garlands, feast and fun. The elders were also entertained by the pranks played by these little ones during the marriage rituals, and it appears that it left indelible marks in their minds. One such childish incident was talked about for a very long time. After the wedding ceremony, the child couple were taken out on a procession in a palanquin. To keep the dozing bride and groom awake, each one was given a laddu. The groom, being slightly older, hesitated to eat amidst the crowd, whereas the bride finished off hers and also grabbed and ate her husband's quota. The boy was angered by this and he pinched his wife, and she in turn scratched him with her nails. The elders and the grown-ups around saw the fun more than the fight and later consoled and cajoled them with more sweetmeats. Such childish pranks remained in people's memory for a very long time and were talked about in those days where there was no photo session or a video. Jai Gurudeva, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha.